Princess Scalara looked out the window of her royal chamber as the world she knew burned in chaos. She was the only daughter of Emperor Talon, ruler of the mighty Thalorian Empire. But tonight, her home was not safe. The palace halls echoed with gunfire and screams. The golden banners of her family were falling, replaced by the cruel symbols of the rebels. Salara's heart pounded in her chest. She was scared, but she did not cry. She remembered her father's words. A true leader stands tall, even when she is afraid. The princess hurried down the secret passage behind her room. Only she and her father knew about it. The walls were cold, and every step she took echoed loudly in the silence. Outside, the city lights flickered as explosions rocked the capital. The sky was dark, filled with smoke and the sharp lights of energy weapons. Salara covered her face with a scarf and kept moving. She had to reach her ship in the hidden hangar. She could not trust anyone, not even her closest guards. The rebels had spies everywhere. Alara slipped through the shadows, heart racing. In the hangar, her small ship waited, shining silver under the emergency lights. As she climbed in, her hands trembled. The princess took a deep breath and started the engines. The ship roared to life, and she shot into the night sky, away from her burning home. But her escape was not easy. As soon as she left the planet's atmosphere, rebel ships spotted her. They fired warning shots, trying to force her back. Salara gripped the controls tightly, dodging blasts and pushing her ship to its limits. Alarms rang out as the ship shook under enemy fire. She punched in random coordinates for her hyperspace jump. She did not know where she was going, only that she had to survive. The ship leaped into hyperspace, but something was wrong. Sparks flew from the control panel. The navigation system was damaged. Salara struggled to keep the ship steady as it tumbled through space. "Come on, hold together," she whispered, but the ship did not listen. It broke out of hyperspace near an unknown planet. The ship was falling, spinning out of control. Salara tried to slow the crash, but the engines were dead. The last thing she saw before blacking out was the planet's surface rushing toward her. When Salara opened her eyes, she was lying on the cold metal floor of her broken ship. Through the shattered window, she saw a strange, wild landscape, a place unlike any she had seen before. Her head ached, but she knew one thing. She had to get out. She was alone, far from home, on a planet full of unknown dangers. The princess gathered her courage. She checked her supplies, took a deep breath, and stepped outside. The adventure was just beginning, and Salara had no idea what waited for her out there. Princess Scalara stumbled through the thick forest, her legs weak and her clothes torn. She could hear strange animal sounds all around her, and every shadow seemed dangerous. She missed her palace, the warm lights, and her father's kind voice. But she could not stop. She had to find help, or at least a safe place to hide. The air was different here. It was colder and filled with the smell of damp earth. Salara followed a narrow path between twisted trees. She tried to remember her survival training, thinking about which plants might be safe to eat and how to make a shelter. Every noise made her jump. She wished she was stronger, like the warriors in her father's army. Suddenly, Salara heard loud voices and the sound of weapons firing in the distance. She crouched low and crept forward, careful not to make a sound. As she moved closer, she saw a clearing ahead. There, a group of strange people, humans, she guessed, were fighting against wild, beast-like creatures. The humans looked tough and fearless. They wore armor made from metal and scraps. At their front was a tall man with sharp eyes and a strong voice, barking orders and swinging a heavy sword. Zalara watched as the humans fought bravely. The tall man seemed to move faster than anyone else. His sword flashed in the sunlight, and the beasts fell back. The humans finally won, chasing away the last of the creatures. The group cheered, but the tall man only wiped sweat from his brow and looked around, always alert. Just then, one of the humans spotted Salara hiding in the bushes. "Who's there?" he shouted, pointing his weapon. The others quickly turned, ready for danger. Solara's heart pounded. She knew she had to act. She stepped out with her hands raised. "Please, I need help. My ship crashed. I am not your enemy," she said in a shaky voice. The tall man stepped closer, watching her carefully. His eyes were suspicious, but also curious. "You're not from around here," he said in a deep, steady voice. "What's your name?" Solara hesitated. She was not sure if she should trust him, but she needed help. "My name is Stolara," she replied, leaving out her royal title. The man nodded. "I'm Marcus Reed, captain of this group. You're lucky we found you before the beasts did." He looked her up and down, noticing her fine but damaged clothes and the strange symbol on her wrist. The other humans whispered to each other, wondering who she was. Marcus signaled them to lower their weapons. "If you want to stay with us, you have to follow our rules. This planet is dangerous, and we don't trust strangers easily," he said. Solara agreed, feeling a mix of relief and fear. She had escaped one danger, but new ones were just beginning. As she joined the group, she wondered who this strong human warrior really was, and what secrets this wild planet still held. Solara walked with Marcus and his group through the wild forest. The humans stayed close together, always watching for danger. The air was tense. Some of the humans still looked at Solara with suspicion. They whispered to each other, but she could not understand their words. Marcus walked at the front, his sword always ready. He led the group with confidence. Sometimes he glanced back at Solara, his face hard to read. Solara wondered if she could trust him. But for now, she had no choice. They soon reached the humans' camp. It was hidden among big rocks and tall trees. There were tents made from metal and animal skins. Fires burned in barrels, giving some warmth. Children and women watched from a distance. Solara felt many eyes on her, studying every move she made. Marcus introduced Solara to his closest friends: Sarah, a smart engineer with quick hands, and Tom, a silent but loyal fighter. Sarah offered Solara some water and food. "We don't have much, but you can share," she said kindly. Solara nodded in thanks, feeling hungry for the first time since her crash. Later, Marcus called a meeting. The group sat in a circle. "We have a new guest," he said, "but we need to know if we can trust her." He looked at Solara. "Why were you flying alone? Are others looking for you?" Solara hesitated. She did not want to reveal too much. "There was trouble on my world," she said. "I had to escape. My ship was damaged, and I crashed here." The humans murmured. Marcus pressed her. "What kind of trouble? Are you important?" Solara looked down. She remembered her father's words about being careful. I can't say," she whispered. Some of the humans grew angry. She could be a spy. One shouted. Others nodded. Marcus raised his hand for silence. "For now, she stays, but she works with us. Everyone must help the group. That is the rule." Solara agreed, though she was nervous. The next day, she helped Sarah fix broken equipment. She cleaned weapons and carried water. The work was hard, but Solara did not complain. She wanted to prove she could be trusted. That night, the camp was attacked by strange wild animals with glowing eyes. The humans fought bravely, using weapons and fire to push back the beasts. Solara grabbed a stick and tried to help, though she had never fought before. Marcus saw her courage and nodded with respect. When the attack was over, Solara sat by the fire, breathing hard. Marcus sat next to her. "You're brave," he said, "but you still have secrets. If you want to survive here, you need to trust someone." Solara looked at him and saw not just a warrior, but a leader who cared for his people. She wanted to trust him, but her heart was still heavy with fear. For now, they were allies, but both knew this uneasy peace might not last forever. The next morning, Solara woke early. She was still tired, but the camp was already busy. People were fixing tents, sharpening weapons, and sharing simple breakfast. Marcus was talking to Tom near the edge of the camp, pointing toward the forest. Solara wondered what they were planning. After eating, Solara helped Sarah sort through a pile of old, broken equipment. As she worked, she noticed a small device blinking with a weak blue light. Curious, she picked it up. Sarah saw her and shook her head. That's just old junk from a crashed ship. Not even Marcus could fix it. But as Solara turned it over in her hands, it lit up and showed a message in her own language. Her eyes widened. "This is a Thalorian distress beacon," she whispered. Suddenly, she realized someone else from her world might be nearby, or her enemies could be searching for her already. Before she could say anything, Marcus came over, his eyes serious. He held out a small piece of paper, crumpled and dirty. "We found this last night after the animal attack. It was hidden in the bushes. Do you recognize it?" Solara took the paper. Her hands trembled as she saw the picture on it, a photo of herself as a child, wearing a special necklace shaped like a star. That necklace had been given to her by her parents, and she had worn it every day until she left home. On the back of the photo was a symbol, one she recognized from the royal family archives. "How did you get this?" Solara asked, her voice shaky. Marcus looked at her closely. "It was with a few old things from a wrecked ship years ago. I kept it because I thought it was important. I didn't know you were the girl in the picture, until now." For a moment, Solara was silent. Then, feeling she could not hide any longer, she decided to tell Marcus part of the truth. "My name is not just Solara. I am Princess Talara of Thaler. The rebels took my home. I escaped, but they are hunting me. If they find out I'm here, everyone in this camp will be in danger." The group was shocked when Marcus shared the news. Some people wanted to send Solara away, afraid of trouble. But Marcus stood up for her. "We don't abandon people who need help," he said firmly. "If she is a princess, that means she has powerful enemies, but maybe also powerful friends." That night, as the camp slept, Marcus looked at the old photo. He felt a strange connection to Solara, as if their paths were tied together by fate. He remembered stories from his childhood about a peace treaty with aliens, stories he always thought were just legends. Now, everything was changing. The humans and Solara had more questions than answers. But one thing was clear: secrets could no longer stay hidden. The truth was starting to come out, and it would change everything. That night, Solara could not sleep. She kept thinking about the old photo Marcus had shown her. Why did he have a picture of her as a child? What was the meaning of the star-shaped necklace she wore in that photo? There were too many secrets. The fire outside the tent was dying, but her mind was full of questions. Meanwhile, Marcus also lay awake, staring at the photo. He remembered something strange from his own past, a bedtime story his grandmother told him when he was little. She spoke of a powerful alien princess who would one day save both her people and the humans. He never believed it, but now he wondered if it was true. The next morning, Solara and Marcus sat together, away from the others. "I need to know the truth," Solara said. "Why do you have this picture of me?" Marcus nodded. "My grandmother gave it to me. She said it belonged to my family. I never understood why. I thought it was just an old story. But now I think there's more to it." They decided to search for more answers. Solara looked through her bag and found an old broken locket, her star-shaped necklace. It matched the one in the photo. She opened it and found a tiny chip inside. With Sarah's help, they managed to connect it to a small screen. A hologram appeared. It showed two children, Solara and a young Marcus, standing together. An old alien voice spoke. "This is a memory pact between the royal family of Fiddler and the House of Reed on Earth. In times of great danger, our families will unite through marriage to bring peace and strength to both worlds." Solara gasped. She remembered fragments of her childhood, holding Marcus's hand in a garden, laughing as their parents watched. Her memories had been hidden deep in her mind. Now, pieces started to come back. Marcus also felt a strange warmth in his heart, as if he always knew Solara somehow. Sarah stared at the hologram in surprise. So you two were promised to each other as children, for a peace pact? Solara nodded slowly. Our parents made the pact to protect both our worlds. But when the rebels started the war, they erased my memory to keep me safe. I guess you forgot too. Marcus looked at Solara, his eyes soft. Maybe our destiny is to finish what our parents started. But right now, we must survive. The others in the camp were amazed when they heard the story. Some were doubtful, but most felt hope for the first time. If the princess and the warrior could unite, maybe there was a way to fight back against the enemies who wanted to destroy them all. As the sun set, Solara and Marcus stood side by side. The past was full of secrets, but now they had each other. The forgotten pact had been remembered, and it would change their future forever. The sun was rising as Solara and Marcus prepared to leave the camp. The forest was alive with sounds, but danger was never far. Word had spread quickly after the revelation of the ancient pact. Some in the camp worried that enemies would come soon. They were right. Far above the planet, Thalorian warships hunted relentlessly. The rebels had found the princess's trail and were determined to capture her. At the same time, local warlords on the planet saw an opportunity to seize power by capturing the valuable princess. Solara packed what little she could carry. Her broken ship was beyond repair. Marcus checked his weapons and gathered his closest fighters. We move fast and stay quiet, he said firmly. Our enemies are coming. As they stepped into the dense jungle, the group felt eyes watching from the shadows. The humans and Solara moved carefully, using all their survival skills. Solara's heart pounded with fear and excitement. She had escaped once, but now the chase was closer and more dangerous. That evening, they'd made camp near a river. Marcus took the first watch. As the stars appeared, Solara sat by the fire, her mind heavy. She looked at Marcus, who was cleaning his sword with steady hands. "Why do you risk so much for me?" she asked quietly. Marcus met her eyes. "Because you're more than a princess. You're the key to a new future, and because I promised to protect you." Solara felt a warmth she had never known before. For the first time, she saw Marcus not just as a warrior, but as someone who cared deeply. Suddenly, distant sounds of engines and blaster fire broke the quiet night. The camp was under attack. "Get ready," Marcus shouted. The group grabbed weapons and formed a circle. Rebels and wild warlords appeared from the trees, weapons blazing. The battle was fierce. Marcus fought with skill and strength, protecting Solara as she helped the wounded. Solara, though scared, found courage rising inside her. She fired a laser pistol she had taken from a fallen enemy and hit a warlord trying to flank them. After what felt like hours, the attackers retreated into the darkness. The group was tired but alive. Marcus looked at Solara. "You did well. You're stronger than you think." Solara nodded, breathless. "I couldn't have done it without you." As dawn broke, the group packed up and moved again. The danger was real, and the path ahead was uncertain. But together, Solara and Marcus knew they had to keep fighting, for their lives, their people, and the hope of peace. Days passed as Solara and Marcus led their group deeper into the wildlands. The forest was thick and dangerous, but the bond between the princess and the warrior grew stronger. They fought side by side, trusting each other more with every step. One afternoon, while resting near a sparkling stream, Marcus pulled out a small wooden box from his pack. He opened it carefully, revealing a delicate necklace, the same star-shaped design from Solara's childhood. "I kept this for years," Marcus said softly. "It's your family symbol, and now it's yours again." Solara's eyes filled with tears as she took the necklace. "I thought I lost this forever," she whispered. She fastened it around her neck, feeling the cool metal against her skin. Marcus smiled. "We were children when this was given to us. I don't remember much, but I think we were friends. Solara nodded slowly. I remember too, but my memories were locked away. Now, they're coming back, like pieces of a puzzle. As they spoke, a soft breeze rustled the trees. The moment felt like magic, a bridge between their past and present. They sat quietly, sharing stories about their childhoods. Marcus told Solara about his life on Earth, growing up in a tough world where survival was a daily fight. Solara spoke of her royal upbringing and the heavy burden she carried. Despite their different worlds, they found comfort in their shared past. Suddenly, the calm was broken by distant voices and footsteps. Marcus stood quickly, sword in hand. Enemies, he said. We need to move. Solara nodded, heart pounding. But she stood tall. Together, they led the group away from danger, navigating the forest with skill. During the escape, Marcus covered Solara's back, fighting off attackers. Solara, now more confident, helped the others find safe paths. That night, by the campfire, Marcus looked at Solara with respect. You're not just a princess hiding from danger. You're a leader, a warrior. Solara smiled, feeling stronger than ever. And you're more than a soldier. You're my husband, by pact and by choice. Marcus reached for her hand. Then we faced the future together. The group around the fire watched quietly. A new hope had been born, one that united two worlds. The princess and the human warrior were no longer strangers. Their bond, forgotten for years, was now a powerful force. As stars twinkled above, Solara and Marcus planned their next steps. The road ahead was dangerous, but together, they were unstoppable. The small camp grew larger each day as more humans and aliens joined Solara and Marcus. Word of their courage spread fast. Many who were tired of war and cruelty wanted to fight for a new future. Together, they planned an uprising against the Thalorian rebels and the local warlords who ruled with fear. Solara stood before the crowd, her voice strong and clear. We fight not just for survival, she said, but for peace, for freedom, for our homes. The crowd cheered, hope shining in their eyes. Marcus stood beside her, his sword raised high. We will show them that humans and aliens can be stronger together. The first mission was dangerous. Scouts spotted a rebel outpost nearby, where weapons and supplies were stored. Without these, the rebels would be weaker. Marcus led a team of fighters, with Solara guiding them through secret paths. The forest was thick and full of dangers, but they moved quietly, like shadows. When they reached the outpost, they waited for nightfall. Under the cover of darkness, the rebels were caught by surprise. The uprising fighters destroyed weapon caches and freed prisoners, many of whom joined their cause immediately. Back at camp, the mood was brighter. The victory was small but powerful. It proved that the rebels were not unbeatable. But not everyone was happy. The Thalorian leader, General Varnak, learned of the rebellion and was furious. He sent his best hunters to find and killed Solara and Marcus. One night, the camp was attacked again, this time with faster ships and more soldiers. The battle was fierce. Explosions lit the sky, and laser fire filled the air. Solara and Marcus fought side by side, protecting their people. Marcus's sword clashed against enemy weapons, while Solara used her knowledge of tactics to guide fighters. Despite being outnumbered, the uprising did not break. The rebels were pushed back, but they did not give up. After the battle, Marcus looked at Solara. This fight is bigger than us, he said. But we have something they don't, hope. Solara nodded. And together, we can change the future. The uprising was just beginning. The princess and the human warrior stood strong, ready to lead their people toward freedom and a new alliance between their worlds. The air was thick with tension as Solara and Marcus stood before a crowd of both humans and aliens. The time had come to reveal the full truth, the ancient marriage pact, the forgotten alliance, and the hope for peace between their worlds. Solara's voice was steady. Long ago, Our worlds made a promise. To bring peace, our families joined together in a sacred pact. Marcus and I were meant to be united, not just as leaders, but as partners. Marcus stepped forward, holding out the old photograph of their childhood. We didn't know the full story until now, but we believe that together, we can fulfill that promise. The crowd was silent at first. Then whispers spread like wildfire. Some were shocked. Others were hopeful. Many had never imagined humans and Thalorians could stand side by side. Suddenly, General Varnak appeared, flanked by his soldiers. His voice was cold and angry. "This is a lie. Solara is a traitor. You, Marcus, are a fool to follow her." But Solara raised her hand. "Listen, the old wars have cost too much. We can build a new future, one where humans and aliens work together." She stepped closer to Marcus, taking his hand. "Our bond is proof that peace is possible. We ask you all to stand with us." One by one, leaders from different clans and groups stepped forward. They pledged their support. The rebellion became a movement for unity. Varnak's soldiers hesitated. Without full support, they had no choice but to retreat. As the sun set, Solara and Marcus stood together, united and strong. The truth was out, and it had changed everything. The first light of dawn stretched over the camp. The battle was over, but a new journey had just begun. Solara stood on a small hill, looking out at the people gathered below, humans and aliens united at last. Marcus stood beside her, calm and proud. Together, they had faced danger, secrets, and doubt. Now their promise was real, a future where their worlds would grow strong, side by side. Solara turned to Marcus. "We have come far, but there is still much to do." Marcus nodded. "We will rebuild, not just our homes, but trust between our peoples." The camp was alive with energy. Builders worked to repair broken shelters. Farmers planned new fields. Children played freely, their laughter a new sound in the quiet forest. Leaders from many clans gathered to form a council. Solara and Marcus were chosen to lead, not as rulers, but as partners. Their marriage was no longer a secret pact. It was a symbol of hope. That evening, a great celebration lit the night sky. Fires burned bright, and music filled the air. Solara wore her star-shaped necklace, a sign of her heritage and the bond she shared with Marcus. Marcus took her hand. "We have faced the darkness together. Now we build the light." Solara smiled, feeling the warmth of their future. The princess and the warrior were no longer strangers but a team, strong and unbreakable. As the stars shone above, they looked forward to a new dawn, a dawn where humans and aliens could live in peace, united by courage, trust, and love.